لا تغير الحوادث ولا يخشى الدوائر، يعلم مثاقيل الجبال ومكائل البحار وعدد قطر الأمطار وعدد ورق الأشجار وعدد ما أظلم عليه الليل وما أشرق عليه النهار، ولا تواري منه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا، الحلال ما أحللت والحرام ما حرمت، والدين ما شرعت والأمر ما قضيت، الخلق خلقك والعبد عبدك وأنت الله الرؤوف الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على نبيه ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: ما يصيب المسلم من نصب ولا وصب ولا هم ولا حزن ولا أذى ولا غم حتى الشوكة يشاكها إلا كفر الله بها من خطاياه، أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hope everyone is doing well today. Just waiting for a few more brothers to join, inshallah, and we'll get started. So as I mentioned yesterday, we'll start from Surah Taha today, inshallah. We will start with Surah Taha today and go all the way to Surah Mu'minun, inshallah. Because today is the last day of our express this week tafseer, I would say. And then inshallah, we'll move at a slower pace. Because our khatam is on the 28th, inshallah, as you might be aware. So inshallah, we'll start shortly, just in about roughly a minute or two. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, inshallah, we'll get started now. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Starting off with Surah Taha. Right, and as promised, as I mentioned, inshallah, in this surah we will discuss full details of Musa alayhi salam and how everything happened. Right, so just looking at this ayah, ayah number 40. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Looking at ayah number 40. إذ تمشي أختك فتقول هل أدلكم على من يكفله فرجعناك إلى أمك كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن وقتلت نفسا فنجيناك من الغم وفتناك فتونا فلبث سنين في أهل مدين ثم جئت على قدر يا موسى. This part of the ayah, وفتناك فتونا, right? وفتناك فتونا, وفتناك فتونا, that we have tested you through several trials, talking about Musa alayhi salam. So a person asked Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu, that what is the meaning of this? وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونًا, that we've tested you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has tested Musa alayhi salam through many ayahs, through several trials and tribulations, meaning that he had to go through a lot. So Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu said, this topic is very long, it's very lengthy. Come tomorrow at Fajr time, and then I will tell you, inshallah. So this person now, this is the whole narration, now inshallah, I will say the whole story. So this person comes to Abdullah bin Abbas the next morning. He says, Ya Abdullah bin Abbas, tell me now, as you know, you have promised to tell me what is the meaning of وَفَتَنَّاكَ فُتُونًا, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has tested you through many trials. So he said, okay, and then he started. And this is a story, my dear respected brothers and sisters. I hope everyone can listen. This is the full story of Musa alayhi salam, how everything happened. Excuse me. Now understanding Fir'aun is now the king. Okay, we're now going pre-Fir'aun era, okay, how Fir'aun became a king, but just starting from the story of Musa alayhi salam. So Fir'aun is the king at this point, okay. Bani Israel, they have been enslaved, okay, prisoners of Fir'aun, workers of Fir'aun. Now, they understood that Ibrahim alayhi salam made a dua and said, Ya Allah, send a prophet. Send a prophet. Right? This is the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So people started saying that, and Bani Israel started saying that this dua has already been accepted. Now there were a few who said this dua has been accepted in the form of Yusuf alayhi salam, right? Yusuf alayhi salam was from the progeny of, obviously, you know, the son of Yaqub alayhi salam, who was the son of Ishaq alayhi salam, who was the son of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So people said Yusuf alayhi salam. So Fir'aun and his men said, it can't be Yusuf alayhi salam. It has to be someone else. And understanding Bani Israel, right? Bani Israel, as we discussed earlier, the children of Yaqub alayhi salam. So it was said that, it can't be Yusuf alayhi salam. It has to be someone else. So Fir'aun said, and the prophecy was that a prophet will come and he will overthrow Fir'aun and take away his throne and free Bani Israel from this enslavement. He said it can't be Yusuf alayhi salam. This hasn't been done. I'm still the king. So he said it's going to be someone else, and it's going to be amongst Bani Israel, right, from the progeny of Yaqub alayhi salam, starting going all the way back to Ibrahim alayhi salam, right. So he said, what? This is what we will advise. He told his advisors and his army that you go out, carry knives, and slaughter every boy. Go to each and every single house. Any boy you find, slaughter him. Because who knows, he can be a prophet. He may be that prophet that Ibrahim alayhi salam said, that Ibrahim alayhi salam asked for. So just slaughter him. Slaughter everyone. Now, some time passed by. Hundreds and thousands of boys were slaughtered. Now, the army of Fir'aun, they looked around and they said, "O Fir'aun, if we keep this up, we won't have any stability. We won't have any army for us, because the Bani Israel, understanding that Fir'aun, he had his own people, and Bani Israel were enslaved, right? Bani Israel would, carry the task and perform the different tasks. They were workers basically for Fir'aun. So, and obviously, the woman folk, they can't do the same work that a man can do, that a person can do, that a male can do, and the old, obviously, being old, they're unable to carry out different tasks and perform different tasks. So his advisors advised him that, we can't keep this up. If we're killing all the boys, all we are left with is the old folks and the women folk. Then we will have to take care of your responsibilities, and then who is ready to serve us? So Fir'aun said, okay, you know what? 1 year is, we'll kill everyone. We'll kill all the boys. Wa alaikum assalam to those who have just joined. The first year we will kill everyone, kill all the boys. The second year, you spare the boys. So 1 year of killing and the next year of sparing. Okay, so 1 year you kill all the boys. So this is way it keeps that balance, right? Now, subhanAllah, the qudra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what happened was that the year of sparing, who was born? Harun alayhi salam, the brother of Musa alayhi salam, right? From the mother of Musa alayhi salam. Harun alayhi salam was born. The next year she conceived who? Musa alayhi salam, right? Musa alayhi salam. Now, subhanAllah, Abdullah bin Abbas who says this was the first trial. That Musa alayhi salam, he didn't even come into this world, and yet people are plotting. His killing was being plotted. So now, after the birth of Musa alayhi salam, and this was a year of killing, she was afraid that my boy is going to die now. Fir'aun is going to come any minute, his army is going to come any minute, and the army of Fir'aun, they are going to slaughter my son. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to her, right, through ilham, وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي إِنَّا أَرَادُوهُ إِلَيْكَ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. SubhanAllah, a beautiful glad tidings, right? وَلَا تَخَافِي, do not fear. وَلَا تَحْزَنِي, don't grieve. إِنَّا أَرَادُوهُ إِلَيْكَ, we will surely, see, إِنَّا رَادُوهُ إِلَيْكَ, we will surely return Musa alayhi salam back to you. وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, not only this, we will make him amongst our mursalin, we will make him a prophet. So she was advised to take this baby. Now, obviously, because she had to get rid of this baby, because had Fir'aun known, Fir'aun would slaughter Musa alayhi salam. So the mother of Musa alayhi salam was told, you take this small boy of yours, put him in a small basket, and cover that basket, right? And put him in the river, the Nile River. Now she did so, and this is what was told to her. وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي إِنَّا رَادُوهُ إِلَيْكَ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, that don't fear and don't grieve. We will surely return him back to you, and we will make him a prophet. Now this small boy, which has Musa alayhi salam, the small basket that has Musa alayhi salam, it went to an area where the servants, the slave girls of Fir'aun, would bathe, and they would take showers, and they would clean themselves. It reached the servants of Fir'aun. One of them picks up this basket, right? She picks up the basket and she says, should I look inside? Should I look inside? What's inside? So the other one said, there were servants there. So the other one said that if you look inside, and let's say there's money inside, and you return it back to Asya, and you give it to Asya, the wife of Fir'aun, she will think that since there was money inside, you've probably taken something, right? So, something's wrong. You've done something to this. So they said, it's best for us to just leave it as is and return it to Asya. Just give it to Asya. Now they take this, subhanAllah, look at this, the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They take this basket, give it to Asya, right, the wife of Fir'aun. When she looks at this, she opens it and she says, subhanAllah, it's a baby, it's a beautiful baby. She's shocked. Where did this baby come from? No sooner did she say this, no sooner did she say it's a boy, the Fir'aun, the army of Fir'aun, they were ready to slaughter and kill this boy. Right? So they go up to Asya and they say, we have been ordered, we have strict orders to follow. We are to kill, this year is the year of killing, we have to kill this boy. Asya said, no. You know what, let me talk to Fir'aun first. No, it's a beautiful boy, I love this boy. Let me talk to Fir'aun first. If Fir'aun gives me ijazah, if he gives permission for me to keep this boy, then, I will keep him. If Fir'aun said, no, doesn't matter, we have to kill this boy, then, I won't come in your matter. I won't come between your matter. So they said, okay. Asya takes this boy, the wife of Fir'aun takes this boy to Fir'aun, right? Now, subhanAllah, this is Allah, so beautiful, right? She says, قُرَّةُ عَيْنٍ لِي وَلَكَ لَا تَقْتُلُوهُ. SubhanAllah. قُرَّةُ عَيْنٍ لِي وَلَكَ لَا تَقْتُلُوهُ. SubhanAllah. Coolness of my eyes and yours. لَا تَقْتُلُوهُ. Don't kill him. Fir'aun said, you know what? He is the coolness of your eyes. He's not the coolness of my eyes. Fine. If you like him that much, you can keep him. SubhanAllah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, by Allah, he swore by Allah. He said, I swear by Allah, had Fir'aun said, he is also the coolness of my eyes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given hidayah to Fir'aun. Right? This is one of the reasons why Asya was given hidayah, because she said, قُرَّةُ عَيْنٍ لِي وَلَكَ. Coolness of my eyes. Coolness of my eyes. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, had Fir'aun said, and in response to that, Fir'aun said, no, he's, coolness of your eyes, not my eyes. Allah. Fir'aun would have been given hidayah. Now, small boy, obviously he needs milk to drink. No, so they called in a lot of witnesses and said, give him milk. Musa alayhi salam refused. He refused, right? وَحَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَرَاضِعَ, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, right? Their milk was made haram to them. Right? In other words, saying that he would not drink from them, right? Called in a lot of witnesses. Now, obviously, the small baby needs milk, otherwise the baby will die, right? So Asya said to the servants, to the witnesses, why don't you go out? look around, find out, someone may feed him, right? Now, subhanAllah, while this is happening, Musa alayhi salam, the mother of Musa alayhi salam, she said to her daughter that, and because she was worried about her son, she said to her daughter that, you know what, look around, find out, did that boy, what happened to that boy, the boy in the basket? Is there, has this become the new talk of the town? Find out what's going on. Find out what's going on. So she goes out and she finds out that, people are looking, that this boy is, subhanAllah, now he's in the palace he's in Fir'aun's palace. And the wet nurses, they're looking for another wet nurse, right, to feed Musa alayhi salam. So they look around, they don't find anyone. The daughter of, the sister of Musa alayhi salam, she remembers, she said, subhanAllah, this is obviously, she knows that, Musa alayhi salam is her brother. So she says, you know what, I know someone may feed, someone who might be able to feed this small boy. She didn't say, my mother is, my mother is here, obviously because she wanted to hide this. So she says, there is someone who can probably feed him, right? Who can probably take care of him. So they said, okay, who is this person? And so they take this baby, Musa alayhi salam, to the mother, and subhanAllah, all of a sudden Musa alayhi salam starts drinking from his mother. Allahu Akbar. Now she remembered the ilham and the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? That what was revealed to her through ilham. وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي. Now that, don't worry. Right now you are placing your child, although you are placing your child in this basket, إِنَّا رَادُهُ إِلَيْكَ, we will surely return him back to you. And then she remembered, she said, subhanAllah. No, she couldn't believe it. She said, subhanAllah, now Musa alayhi salam is back to me. He's back. Right? Allahu Akbar. Then what happened was that Asya takes this baby, this boy, back in the palace. Sorry, not Asya, the mother of Musa alayhi salam, she takes this boy back into the palace. Asya says that, why don't you stay here? Why don't you stay here? You can stay here. We'll take care of your provisions. We'll take care of you. And you feed this boy here. Right? Because that's how much love Asya had for Musa alayhi salam. She didn't want to part ways with Musa alayhi salam. Right? But the mother of understanding that the mother of Musa alayhi salam, she had to feed another boy, Harun alayhi salam. Right? Harun alayhi salam was born in that year, the year of sparing, right? And Musa alayhi salam was born in the year of killing, when boys were instructed to be killed, right? So she said, you know what? Let me take him back. When he's done, when his time is done for drinking milk, I will bring him back to you, because I have another boy that who's waiting for me, Harun alayhi salam. I have to feed him as well. So Asya said, okay, you can take this boy back. After some time, when Musa alayhi salam, he reached a certain age, right, where he no longer needed the milk of his mother, he returns and comes back to the palace, right? The mother of Musa alayhi salam brings him back to the palace. Now Asya tells Fir'aun that you tell your servants, today my son is coming back to his palace. That make sure that you give him lots of gifts. Make sure you have this huge ceremony, and make sure you give him everything. So that's something that was done. Now, so Musa alayhi salam, subhanAllah, Allahu Akbar. The enemy of Fir'aun, Fir'aun doesn't even know his own enemy, right? His own enemy was who at that time? Musa alayhi salam is living in his house. Now, before that happens, subhanAllah, Musa alayhi salam, when he comes into the palace, right? He's a young boy, he's a small boy. Asya takes that boy and she gives it to Fir'aun. She said, here you go, take this. Now it comes in one riwayah, at that point, Musa alayhi salam, see, he's a small boy, he grabbed the beard of Fir'aun and he put it down. And he pulled his beard. Now this is one riwayah, or it says in another riwayah it comes that Fir'aun, Musa alayhi salam, at that point, he had a small stick. And Musa alayhi salam took that stick and he hit Fir'aun. Right? So nevertheless, Allahu A'lam, Allah Ta'ala knows best. So Fir'aun, at that point, he got scared. He said, no, this is the same prophet from the progeny of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He is the same prophet who's going to kill me. So he called his men and he said, kill this boy. Asya said, what are you doing? He's a small boy. He's a small boy. How can you kill him? He said, look, he is a prophet. Look, he took my beard, or he hit me with that stick. That is a sign for me that this person, he's going to cause a lot of trouble. So Asya said, why don't you test him? Test him if he's going to be a prophet or not, or just test him. It could just, he's a small baby. He doesn't know. He just probably, he would just hit you with that stick where you just pulled your beard, right? So she said, test him. Take 2 pearls and take 2 charcoals. Place it before him. if his hand, understanding that, kids, they're attracted to light, they're attracted to something that's hot, because they don't understand, right? Kids don't have it, you put $5 in front of a kid, in front of a small boy, he doesn't understand, he doesn't know the value of it. You take that $5 and you put it in front of a boy who's maybe 8 years old or 7 years old, right? He'll take that $5, right? Because he has value for it. So he said, test them. So now it comes in a riwayah that Musa alayhi salam, his hand, obviously he's a prophet, right? So he was special. His hand was actually going towards the pearls, right? Towards the pearls. And Jibreel alayhi salam moved it towards the charcoal. Then again, it's a riwayah, Allah Ta'ala knows best. Nevertheless, Musa alayhi salam, his hand went towards the charcoal and he picked it up. He grabbed it, right? And he grabbed it and he put it in his mouth. And subhanAllah, because of this incident, he had a speech impediment, right? And this is, we understand, subhanAllah, if we just looking at ayah number 29, right? So ayah number 25 to 28, right? رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِّسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. Those, and those of us who have some sort of speech impediment, right? My teachers used to say, these people need to make this dua. Right? And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you in your speech. رَبِّ اشْرَحْ لِي صَدْرِي وَيَسِّرْ لِي أَمْرِي وَاحْلُلْ عُقْدَةً مِّن لِّسَانِي يَفْقَهُوا قَوْلِي. So Fir'aun said, okay, you know what? This boy has passed the test. He's not a prophet. If he was a prophet, his hand would go towards the pearls. But little did he know. Right? So he said, okay, don't kill him. We'll keep him. Now, Allahu Akbar, Musa alayhi salam, obviously now he's reached a tender age, right? He's reached a tender age. Now, Musa alayhi salam, right? Now he's a youth. He goes out one day, and he finds out that two people are fighting. Okay? One Israeli, and one was from Israel, right? And the other one was he's one of Fir'aun's men. Okay? The two were fighting. So obviously Musa alayhi salam, he had an affection towards Bani Israel. He had this passion for them. He was compassionate towards them. Why? Because Bani Israel were enslaved, right? They were wrongly enslaved. And this is something Musa alayhi salam didn't like. And obviously Musa alayhi salam was also amongst Bani Israel. So he looked at that person and he said, why how come you're fighting? The Bani Israel, the Israeli said, this person, he's caused me this and this and all that stuff. So Musa alayhi salam, he struck him, right? Comes under why he either punched him or slapped him. Allahu a'lam. So nevertheless, if that was subhanAllah, that was the strength of Musa alayhi salam. Just one punch or just one slap was enough to kill him, right? And this was not done on purpose. It was an accident, right? Now this person, he's dead, and there's no one around, and no witnesses were around. So they just said, let's just go. Let's just move away from this. Okay, so they left. Now what happened was that the news reached Fir'aun, obviously, that one of his men has passed away. One of his men is no longer alive. So Fir'aun said, I'm the king. In order for this to take place, I need a suspect. At the same time, I need witnesses, right? So when someone comes forth, there has to be witnesses. So obviously no one came forth, right? And there were no witnesses because that Israeli was there and only Musa alayhi salam. They were the only two there. The next day, Fir'aun tells his people that you go out, find out who killed this person. Because it was Fir'aun, it was one of his men. Find out who killed this person. So these people go, and they look around and they find out, they try to look for who did this. Allahu Akbar. Now what happens is that Israeli, he gets into a kerfuffle with a fuss, he gets into a fuss with another person, right? So Musa alayhi salam goes to that person. He said, oh Israeli, yesterday, what's the matter with you? Yesterday you were fighting with someone, you were arguing with someone, and today you're arguing with someone again? And Musa alayhi salam became a little upset. That Israeli, he said, are you going to kill me? أتريد أن تقتلني كما قتلت نفسا بالأمس? You wish to kill me the way you killed someone yesterday? The way you killed that boy, the way you killed that man yesterday? Now, obviously, people were there at that time, and they understood that Musa alayhi salam was the person who killed one of the men of Fir'aun. So Fir'aun, now the news reaches Fir'aun. Fir'aun says to his people that, you know what, you go after Musa alayhi salam. You take care of Musa alayhi salam. Make sure you kill him. Okay. Now, the army of Fir'aun, they're looking and searching for Musa alayhi salam. At this point, a person comes, goes to Musa alayhi salam, and he tells Musa alayhi salam, Ya Musa, Fir'aun and his men are after you. It's best for you to leave the city. Just leave the city and go towards Madian. Right? He said, go towards Madian. So now Musa alayhi salam is going towards Madian. Okay? Where he sees a well. He sees a well. Okay? He sees a well there, and he finds out that many people there are people around that well with their livestock, with their animals. And on the other hand, you have two girls who are waiting there with their sheep. Right? So he goes up to them and he says, what's the matter? How come you're not, I see everyone around the well. How come you're not around the well? Right? So the two girls said, well, we're not strong enough, right? We're just waiting for, and since we're girls, we're just waiting for this crowd to simmer down a little and this crowd to move away. Then we will feed our sheep. Musa alayhi salam said, okay, no worries, I can take care of this. So Musa alayhi salam took their bucket, filled it up with water, and brought it back to them, right? So, so after giving the two girls what they did, they took this bucket and they gave it to they fed their animals, right? And they went on their way, right? They went on their way. When they returned home, their father asked who was Shu'aib alayhi salam, right? Because Shu'aib alayhi salam was sent to Madian. Shu'aib alayhi salam asked that, how come you're returning early today? Right, today, you're returning early today. This is not your appointed time to come back. How come you're coming back at this time, at this point? So they said, this person, he's helped us. This one person, he's helped us. So Shu'aib alayhi salam said, okay, bring him. Bring that one person. Bring him to me. Right. So now, when the person, now subhanAllah, the two girls, they bring Musa alayhi salam and they bring him to Shu'aib alayhi salam, right? They bring Musa alayhi salam to their house. One of them says, "Oh father, reward Musa alayhi salam. Right? Reward Musa. There should be a reward for him, right? He is powerful and he's ameen. He is trustworthy." So the father asked, he said, "How do you know he's powerful and ameen?" Powerful because he went through the crowd and he picked up and he drew water for us and he brought it back to us, showing his might and power. And he's ameen because when we asked him to follow us, Musa alayhi salam had so much haya, right? He said, you walk behind me, right? You walk behind me, subhanAllah. And most of our cases, if someone is leading you, right? Let's say you were following a car, right? Because that car is going to take you somewhere. You are behind that car, right? If someone wants to take you to your house, you are not going to be behind it, right? Sorry, if someone wants to take you if you want to take someone to your house, right? You are not going to be behind that person. You're going to be in front of him because you know the way, right? Musa alayhi salam at that point, look at the haya of Musa alayhi salam. He looks at the girls and he tells them that, look, don't go ahead of me, go behind me, right? Go behind me, and whichever direction you want me to go in. For example, you want me to turn, go right. Take this pebble, take some stones and hit it towards my right side. That will that's an indication, that's a signal for me to turn right. And whenever you want me to go left, throw that stone at the left side. So that's an indication for me that I'll turn left. So this is why he is trustworthy, right? So Musa alayhi salam, then thereafter Shu'aib alayhi salam said, "Oh Musa, would you like to marry one of my daughters?" Right? Would you like to marry one of my daughters? But only on one condition. Condition was that you stay here in employment for 8 years, right? 8 years, you stay here, you work for me for 8 years, and you can marry one of my daughters, right? Now, obviously, Musa alayhi salam, he needed a place, right? Because he can't go back to Misr because Fir'aun is there, his men are looking for Musa alayhi salam, right? If he goes back, he's going to be killed. So he said, okay, I'll stay here. And he said, now, Shu'aib alayhi salam also said, look, 8 years, this is mandatory, right? So this is wajib, and then the other 2 years are voluntary. Okay, so you're done after 8 years, and the other 2 years, to complete 10 years, the other 2 years are voluntary. So if you wish to stay, you can stay. If you wish to leave, you can leave. So nevertheless, Musa alayhi salam, he ended up staying there for inshallah, we'll get to the questions after. We'll get to the questions after, once we're done with the story. So he said that Musa alayhi salam, he completed 10 years in total, okay? 10 years in total. Now, what happened was, after completing his 10 years, he takes his wife and he goes out, right? And this is the whole incident that we see, like, subhanAllah, we have to cover Surah Taha and other surahs as well. That's why I'm not going in with the whole detail of, you know, the brand of fire. We're not going into the whole detail and the whole incident that takes place, right? Musa alayhi salam, he hears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him that, oh Musa, you go to Fir'aun. Go to Fir'aun. And this is the time where Musa alayhi salam makes a dua, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Musa alayhi salam said, Ya Allah, I have this speech impediment. Ya Allah, strengthen me with my brother, right? Harun. So this was one dua that was accepted, right? This was a dua of Musa alayhi salam that was accepted, that Harun alayhi salam also became a prophet, right? اذهبا إلى فرعون. Now, the two of you, both of you, go to Fir'aun and tell him to stop this punishment, stop this enslavement, and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Basically, surrender yourself, right? Surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Musa alayhi salam, along with Harun alayhi salam, they go to Fir'aun and they tell Fir'aun that free Bani Israel. Free Bani Israel and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fir'aun is thinking that which Allah are you talking about? Which Rabb are you talking about? You know how this is what Fir'aun used to say, Ana rabbukum al-a'la. I am your great Lord. Okay, I am your great Lord. Okay, inshallah, the questions I'll get to them after. Right? How do I become your sorry. Yes, I will answer the questions after because I don't want to get confused and I don't want to get caught up in this dilemma. Right? So, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Fir'aun said, yes, who is your Lord? Right, I'm your Lord. Ana rabbukum al-a'la. I'm your great Lord. And subhanAllah, no one in the history of mankind has ever said this. You know, people, there were those who claimed to be Rabb, but no one has ever said, Ana rabbukum al-a'la. Allahu Akbar. Right? Ana rabbukum al-a'la. I am your great Lord. Right? A'la. So Fir'aun said, do you have any signs that you're from, you know, that a God, a Rabb has sent you, and that you're a true prophet? Right? As this is what Musa alayhi salam said that we have been sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Musa alayhi salam said here, he threw his staff and it turned into a snake, a serpent. Right? This was one of the signs. Fir'aun now, this, Allah, it's an Israeli riwayah that how big the snake was. It's been said that the mouth of, you know, that snake was so big that it was, his mouth, when he opened his mouth, he could have consumed all of Fir'aun's entire palace. Allahu A'lam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, you know, regarding the size of that snake. Nevertheless, it was a very big snake. It was a big snake. So Fir'aun said, you know, take this away from me, take him away from me. I'll give you whatever you need. So we returned back to his form. Then he said, you know, show me another sign. Musa alayhi salam, he would take his hand, this was one of the signs that was given to Musa alayhi salam. He would take his hand and he would place it under his armpit. When he would take it out, it would be as bright as the sun, right? It would be very bright. This was another sign. And then he would put it back inside his armpit and take it out, and it would be normal. So now obviously understanding that magic and trickery was very big at that time, right? Understanding that at the time of Isa alayhi salam, what was famous? It was medicine, right? Curing. That's why, subhanAllah, the ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Isa alayhi salam was, you know, curing the dead, right? Curing the leper, reviving the dead, right? This was a miracle that was given to him at the time of Musa alayhi salam. Magic and trickery was so big, so this was a miracle, and this wasn't, you know, we don't call this magic, we call this the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that his staff will turn into a snake, right? Along with other signs, right? This ayat, 9 clear signs. At the time of Musa alayhi salam, understanding Allahu Akbar, subhanAllah, ash'ar, poems, right? That was the norm of that time. And Allahu Akbar, when you read the Quran, subhanAllah, understanding, not saying that the Quran is full of poems or anything, but subhanAllah, this is how they were defeated, right? Allahu Akbar. Now, Fir'aun looks at Musa alayhi salam, and he says that, you know, I don't believe you. You know, this is some sort of, you know, you're a magician, and this is some sort of trickery, so I don't believe you. Fir'aun tells his people that I need you to go around the city, get me the finest, the best of magicians, right, to face Musa alayhi salam. They go to Musa alayhi salam. Now Fir'aun goes to these magicians. The magicians ask, if we defeat Musa alayhi salam, is there any reward for us? Right? Is there any compensation for us? Will we be compensated? So Fir'aun said, of course, you'll be compensated. I'll make you amongst my close associates. Right? I'll reward you. I'll compensate for you. I'll have, I'll place you in my palace, and you'll become amongst my close associates. So they said, okay. So they asked, what does he do? What's his magic? He said when he throws his staff down, it turns into a snake. They said, okay, that's not a problem for us. We have our ropes, because obviously this is all, the magicians. It wasn't really real magic for them. It was all an illusion. So they said, that's not a problem for us. We have our ropes, we have our sticks, we know what to do. We'll take care of Musa alayhi salam. Right? But then again, Allah, little did they know, Musa alayhi salam, he's not a magician. This is a miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So they come to now, a place was set, right? Zina, Yawm Zina, right? That is, they say the day of. Now some say this was the 10th of Ashura. Then again, Allahu A'lam, if it was actually the 10th of Ashura or not, right? Now what happened was they're in this field, right? They're at a place. So the magicians ask Musa alayhi salam, do you want to go first, or should we go first? Right? Musa alayhi salam says, okay, you know what, you go first. So the magicians, they throw, obviously, their whatever illusion they had. Now to everyone, it seemed like they had snakes, right? Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it through wahi that, yeah, Musa, don't fear, right? Now you throw your staff. When Musa alayhi salam threw his staff onto the floor, it turned into a snake, and it devoured and ate up all their hibad, all their ropes, and all their illusions, right? At this point, the magicians believe that, you know what, he is a true prophet. He's a true prophet. So Fir'aun, obviously, he said, I am. So obviously, when they believe in, just look at this, when they believe in Musa alayhi salam as a true prophet, that means they only believe in one Allah, because this was a belief of Musa alayhi salam, right? And our belief as well, that there was only one Allah, right? So Fir'aun now, at this point, he's scared, saying, SubhanAllah, how can there be another Lord other than me, right? I'm your Rabb. If people start following Musa alayhi salam, then who's going to serve me? Allah Rabbukum al-A'la. So he said, you know what? Kill these. Now now he knew that I couldn't touch really. At that point, he knew that he couldn't touch Musa alayhi salam. So he said, but I can take care of these magicians. And the magicians so they embraced Islam, and they were asked to be killed, right? And as a result, they were killed. So nevertheless, Musa alayhi salam is quickly trying to wrap things up. Musa alayhi salam, he would go back to Fir'aun with many, many signs, and he would say, free Bani Israel, right? For example, this ayat, many signs were given to them, right? For example, frog, blood, locust, etc. So whenever this punishment would come, he would say, you know what, fine, I believe in you, and I will free Bani Israel, right? Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would uplift that punishment, Fir'aun would say, nope, I'm sorry. He would go back. He would turn on his words, and he would say, I'm not going to free Bani Israel. They're still my slaves, right? So it was said to Musa alayhi salam that, Ya Musa, now you take Bani Israel at night. You take these people of yours, and you go towards the sea, towards the Red Sea, right? So that's what Musa alayhi salam. And he was told that when you reach that sea, take your staff and hit it, right? Hit the ocean, and 12 paths will be made, right? 12 pathways for 12 tribes of Bani Israel. Allahu Akbar. Now Musa alayhi salam, he takes Bani Israel, and they're going towards the Red Sea. Okay. The next day, the news reaches Fir'aun that Musa alayhi salam is nowhere to be seen, and Bani Israel, they're gone as well. So he says that, this is our perfect time. They have no access, they have no means of crossing that river, and we'll get to them before they cross the river, and we'll kill all of them, including Musa alayhi salam. So Fir'aun said, I'm going as well. And now Fir'aun took his entire army and himself, right? They're going to kill. This is their plan, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had something else in plan, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. They said, let's go and kill Fir'aun. Now, subhanAllah, at this point, understanding how Bani Israel, how these people were just so ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to Musa alayhi salam, right? At this point, they started saying, oh Musa, what have you done with us? What have you done to us? Did you bring did you bring us here to kill us? And now everyone is going against Musa alayhi salam. Right? See, this was in their nature, right? Just going against their own prophet. Like, oh Musa, why did you bring us here? We're going to die. Oh Musa, there's the sea ahead of us, and there's and Fir'aun and his army are behind us. What are we going to do? We're going to die. At that point, Musa alayhi salam remembered the wahy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, at this point, take your staff and hit it, right? Hit the ocean, hit the sea, and 12 pathways were made. Musa alayhi salam remembered this, he hit it, and 12 pathways were made. And they started crossing, right? They started crossing, and they started moving, right? And advancing, trying to get to the other side. Fir'aun and his men, when they saw this, after seeing this, they said, you know what? There's an opening for us. If they're crossing and nothing is happening to them, let's cross as well, right? Let's cross as well. Let's get to them. Now, subhanAllah, the qudra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, what happened was, when they crossed, right, all the Bani Israel crossed, this is when Fir'aun and his army were right in the middle. And at that point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered and instructed the waves that you come together now. Right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu Akbar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala controls the wind, controls everything, controls the water, subhanAllah, understanding, my dear respected brothers and sisters. If the water and the fire, if all these things are so obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, us human beings, ashraf al-makhluq, being the best of creations, we have to be more obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Water by Allah is not the best of creation, right? Allah ta'ala has said water is the best of creation. Wind is not the best of, wind is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, right? Fire is not the best of creations. Insan, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, right? We've honored we have honored insan, right? Subhanallah. Not only this, subhanallah, the ikram of something, Allahu Akbar. Can you just imagine this? This is a little sidetrack, a little off topic, but I'll get to this and we'll get back on topic. Subhanallah, the ikram of insan, as you're, when you're living your life, subhanallah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, don't slap anyone on his face, don't slap a person on his face. Why? Out of ikram, subhanallah. Now when a person passes away, right, when a person passes away, obviously there are remains of a person, and it is not okay for a person, it's not okay for a person to use the bones of human bones, to clean themselves, right? Why? Out of ikram, out of respect. So subhanallah, subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us respect during our life and after life, subhanallah, right? So how much, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding. I mean, now Fir'aun and his entire army, they are under the ocean, or under the sea. When he is starting to see this, subhanAllah, they would ask for so many favors from Allah, from Musa alayhi salam. They would say, we want to see Allah, we want to do this, we want this, we want this, we want this, we want this. Just, they would whine so much, right? Allahu Akbar. That nation was just ajib. So they would just whine. Now they go to Musa alayhi salam and they say, we don't believe that Fir'aun is actually dead. We want to see his body. We want a visual, right? We want some visuals. We want to see Fir'aun's body. Another miracle. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa alayhi salam, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, Bani Israel, they want to see Fir'aun's body. So Allah subhanahu, now till today, subhanallah, and this is a sign for us, Al-yawma nunajjika bi badanika litakunu liman khalfaka ayah. Allahu Akbar. Right? Till today, Fir'aun's body is preserved. Right? Till today is preserved. SubhanAllah. Allahu Akbar. Thereafter, Musa alayhi salam, he said, now you stay here. There was a place. He said, you stay here. I will go to Tur. Right? This is when Musa alayhi salam went to Tur, and he fasted for 30 days. And he told Harun alayhi salam that you stay back. Right? So Musa alayhi salam, he ended up staying there for how many days? Not 30, for 40 days. When he comes back, and the whole incident of Samiri takes place. Right? I don't want to take too long now on this. Inshallah, we'll get to this after. We're just moving on now. So this is the entire Surah Taha, okay? And all of what happened in Surah Taha and this whole thing, okay? The whole incident between Musa alayhi salam, basically the whole story of Musa alayhi salam, which I just said before you. Okay? So this is under the tafsir of وَفَتَنَّا كَفُّتُونًا, right? That Musa alayhi salam was placed was put through so many trials, right? Trials after trials after trials after trials, right? So this is all of Surah Taha. Surah Anbiya. Well, moving on to Surah Anbiya now. Even in this surah, there's lots to talk about. Now the course, or the main subject of the surah is to cover aqaid, tawheed, risala, and proof of akhir. Okay. Yeah, we'll just go over one or two ayahs, but however, there is this one ayah, and one prophet that I would like to talk about today, inshallah. Okay, and very briefly, we'll get into that as well. Okay. Now, the meetings that mushrikeen of Makkah used to hold, okay, were in absolute secrecy, right? Because they would have their meetings and they would discuss Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and different and other things. Because obviously Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, see, they were polytheists, right? Polytheism. This was their belief, and the belief of Islam is what? Monotheism, believing in one Allah. So they would have their meetings and say, what's going on? What's happening? Our forefathers used to worship these idols and so on and so forth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam through wahi, to which they used to say this is magic. Right? So they would have their meetings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reveal certain things to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? Those things what they were plotting. So they would say, how do you have access to this knowledge? The mushrikeen of Makkah used to say to Rasulullah, how do you have access to this knowledge? You're a magician. In response to this, Allah, an ayah was revealed, Ya Rasulullah, in Surah Anbiya, Ya Rasulullah, tell these people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows of what is being said in the skies and the earth, and He is all hearing and all knowing. Right? SubhanAllah. So SubhanAllah, this shows that, today we may be able to deceive people. We can deceive people, we can do so many things, we can lie to people, but this lie is not hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You tell the truth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it, right? Whether you say it in your own self, whether you say it to yourself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows our truth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows our lies, right? So we can't hide anything. No matter how hard you try, we can't hide anything, right? Ayah number 10, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of, and He says that how many cities, villages have we destroyed who were oppressors and produced another nation. When they felt or perceived our punishment, they fled and ran away. Don't run away. Return to where you were given luxury, to your homes, so that you may be asked, right? Woe unto us, indeed, we were wrongdoers. Right, just going through a couple of ayahs, right? Now, going to just one ayah that we want to focus on today. Okay, so like I said, there's so much to be covered. Well, we're just quickly going over the main topic. The course, the crux, and the gist of this is going all the way to ayah number 83. Okay, in Surah Anbiya, going all the way to ayah number 83. Right. وأيوب إذ نادى ربه أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين. Okay. Ayub alayhi salam. Story of Ayub alayhi salam. Right. This is one point where the story of Ayub alayhi salam is mentioned. Okay. Allahu Akbar. Ayub alayhi salam, understanding what happened with him. Now, Allahu Akbar, there are so many riwayas, and a lot of them are false. Okay. A lot of them are false. For instance, people say that he had maggots now in his, maggots started coming, and he was put through so much that his face, people couldn't recognize his face and all that. It's all made up. So we don't want to get into, delve into this, and nor do we want to talk about it. Okay. Just quickly telling you this about Ayyub alayhi salam, what happened with him was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had blessed him with many, many opportunities. Right. Many, many opportunities. Now it comes in a riwayah that Fir'aun went to him. Fir'aun asked and said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, you have given so many blessings to this person. He had a lot of children, he was wealthy. So Shaitan said, Ya Allah, obviously he's going to show his gratitude because you have given him so much, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now then again, it's a riwayah, Allah, right? Israeli riwayah. We don't say they're 100% true, and we don't say they're 100% false, right? We use them when we say them as long as they don't go against our own aqaid, right? Against our beliefs. Nevertheless, Ayyub alayhi salam was put through a lot of tests. This is what we can say, he was put through a lot of tests. But to say that, maggots came and this happened and his face couldn't change, no one wanted to go near him, he used to live by Allah, people have just made so many different stories. So it is not okay for us to mention these stories, okay? The gist of this is patience. Now understanding what is patience and how can we have patience as well, right? And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu ma'as sabirin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is amongst those, He's with those people who are patient, right? So there are three types of patience, right? As-sabru ala ma amara Allah bihi. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, whatever He's ordained, whatever He has instructed, a person should be patient over this, right? As-sabru amma naha Allahu an. Okay? Patient over those things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has refrained us from, right? For example, understand that it is haram for us, the consumption of wine is haram for us. No matter how much a person, now he used to drink wine before, he has this feeling and he has this, he craves wine, he craves drinking. Now see, then again, he has to be patient, right? As-sabru amma naha Allahu an. Right? Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us not to do, whatever He has asked us, or whatever He said to us, we abstain from it, right? And this is also a form of sabr. Okay? As-sabru ala ma qadara Allahu min al-masa'ib. That any trial that a person goes through, right? Any trial or any tribulation that a person goes through. Now, understanding this, the situation as well. Sabr upon COVID-19, right? Sabr upon COVID-19. Understand that it is this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent to us, right? Understanding that it is a masa'ib, it is a problem, but we are patient over it. Or a person is faced with some financial troubles, right? Some financial difficulty, right? Be patient over it. Other difficulty is someone who's having some sort of domestic problem, right? We need to be patient over this, right? And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test few people through their wealth. Meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them so much wealth, and at this point Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see that, oh slaves of mine, at this point, what are you going to do? Right? Now some people that have so much wealth, Allahu Akbar, they have so much wealth, they don't know what to do with their wealth. Right? They just, at times they give out money, seriously. They'll have challenges, and I've said this before, they have their YouTube challenges and all that stuff, because why would they have all these things, right? Because their luxury, their comfort isn't in money anymore. It's in people. Okay? People are entertaining them now, right? Because now their satisfaction in money has left. Right? That's how much money they have, right? Subhanallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's how we test people, right? Through their wealth. Like, you have so much wealth now, oh my slave, I want to see, are you ready to give some? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not saying give 100%. He's not saying give half. Not even 1/3, honestly, right? He just wants to see, what are you doing at this point? Are you going to give some money in charity, give some zakat, give some sadaqah, or you're just going to, hoard it and just keep it to yourself, withhold all this wealth and spend it in the wrong way. Spend it the wrong way. Now, on the other hand, you have poor people. Poverty, another form of test. Right? How is another form of test? At this point, when a person is just, he's abandoned by everyone, right? He's become an outcast, but no one wants him. He's basically a beggar. No one wants him. At this point, who does he turn to? Right? What does he do at this point? Right? And subhanallah, at this point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from poverty. This is a dua that we need to make as well, right? That poverty can lead a person to kufr as well, right? And it can lead a person to different things, right? SubhanAllah, today you have people who are poor, they don't have anything. So what do they do now in order to, because that we have this race of just wealth, right? People just want to be happy, and they think that wealth is something that's going to make them happy. Because of this, now what do? They rob others, right? They either rob others, or you have Allah Ta'ala protect us. You have some women folk who sell their bodies, right? Put their bodies out for auction, right? Why? So they can get some money, right? So poverty can, then again, it is a test of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from all tests, right? Just like the dua that we make, Allahumma hasibni hisaban yasira, that Allah have, I want to have an easy reckoning, an easy accountability, an easy, I want to have this, right? On Yawm al-Qiyamah, an easy account. Another dua that we can make, my dear respected brothers and sisters, is Allahumma waqiyatan ka waqiyatul walid. Right? Allah, Ya Allah, grant me protection the way protection is granted to a small baby. You know how you have a small baby, how the parents take care of it, make sure that he's not eating anything, make sure he's how basically how parents take care of their children, right? When you have a small baby, 13 months old, a year old, you take care of that baby. You make sure that he's not eating anything he's not supposed to eat. Make sure he's eating the right thing and all that stuff, right? So Allahumma waqiyatan ka waqiyatil walid. Ya Allah, grant me protection, just as a protection given to a child. Allah. Ali radiallahu anhu used to say, "I'lamu, know this about patience, right? أن الصبر من الأمور بمنزلة الرأس من الجسد." That the position of patience in our matters is the position of a head in a body. SubhanAllah. What happens now if you decapitate someone's head? You take off someone's head. What's going to happen? The body is useless, right? So إذا فارق الرأس الجسد فسد الجسد, right? The body is useless, right? وإذا فارق الصبر الأمور فسدت الأمور. Similarly, when you take, SubhanAllah, so wise. When you take out patience from your matter, all those matters become useless. When it comes, and SubhanAllah, you know how true this statement is, SubhanAllah. When you look at your financial dealings, right, or anything, if you make an abrupt decision, or if you're hasty in your decisions, what happens, right? You incur a loss. Now, on the other hand, if you're patient, right? If you practice patience and you say, you know what, let me take care of this, let me take my time, let me analyze this, let me look at this, let me examine this, let me look at that transaction, let me see, let me have my SWOT analysis, let me look at this, let me look at that, let me look at this, right? When you're patient, and then you can reap the rewards, and then you gain that profit, right? So SubhanAllah, وَإِذَا فَارَقَ الصَّبْرُ الْأُمُورَ فَسَدَتِ الْأُمُورِ, right? And Abdullah bin Mas'ud radhiyallahu anhu says, and see, this is then related to Ayyub alayhi salam, right? Understanding that, today people get into the story of Ayyub alayhi salam, and they talk about how he was put through a lot of trials. But this is not the primary objective of the story. The primary objective of the story is, the primary goal and the crux of the story is the fact that he was very patient, right? The fact that he was patient over the trials of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was put through so much, like a lot of tests, but he was patient. He didn't complain. Today, something happened, a prick, a thorn may prick us or something, right? We start to complain. Oh, this happened, Ya Allah, why me? Why this? Someone starts to cough a little, or someone starts to, you have some sort of congestion, or you have a headache, why, Ya Allah, why me? Why do I have to go through all this? How come everyone's living their lives and everything's fine? Everyone's fine, SubhanAllah. This is something that we need to abstain from, right? This is something we need to abstain from. And I love this hadith, عَجَبًا لِأَمْرِ الْمُؤْمِنِ. SubhanAllah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, how amazing, how wonderful is the matter of a mu'min. إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ. The fact is, every matter of a believer, no matter what he does, it's best for him. In every matter there is khayr for him. وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِمُؤْمِنٍ. And this matter is only for a mu'min. That in every matter he is, SubhanAllah, blessed. Right? In أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له. Just imagine this, subhanAllah, if we act upon this hadith, Allahu Akbar, in أصابته سراء, right? If he is going through prosperity, if he is prosperous, right? شكر فكان خيرا له. All he does is he shows gratitude to Allah. شكر فكان خيرا له. He gets rewarded on this. You thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the time of prosperity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you more, as we read the ayah yesterday. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase for you. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاء. And if you go through any difficulty, subhanAllah, sabara, if he is patient over this, he gets rewarded as well. subhanAllah. So you are going through good times, You do shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're rewarded. You're going through some difficult times, some hardships, right? At the time of destitution, be patient over the trials. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you at that time as well. SubhanAllah, my dear brothers and sisters. What more do we want? And Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu used to say, Al-Imanu Nasfan, right? Iman is of two types, right? Iman has two portions. Nisfun sabr, half of Iman is sabr, wa nisfun shukr. And the other half is shukr, right? So shukr and so understanding, just understanding, right? And remember the day we were doing different parts of Iman, right? Different branches of Iman. One of them is patience, right? Patience. SubhanAllah. Today we talk about our problems. SubhanAllah, Allahu Akbar. By Allah, our problems can never exceed the problems of prophets and companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked on one occasion, Ya Rasulullah, man ashaddu an-nasi bala'an? Right? Ya Rasulullah, who, amongst the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are put through the most, who endure the most pain? What was his response? Al-Anbiya. قال ثم من? So then who? قال العلماء. قال ثم من? Then who goes through the most difficult times? قال الصالحون, the righteous people. Right? So Anbiya go through the most. Right? SubhanAllah. And this is something, this should be a source of motivation for us, right? When we go through trials, when we go through different things, always remember the pains of Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in and Anbiya. But always remember their pain. That our pain, that Ya Allah, and this is, SubhanAllah, when we do this, we will be, not only SubhanAllah, two things will happen, right? Allahu Akbar. One thing is to be patient. Now I'm just quickly going to wrap this up. One thing is to be patient at the time of trial, right? When you think of the pain and the agony of pious people and scholars and prophets, when you think of their pain and their trials, you will be thankful. SubhanAllah, at this point, not only are you showing patience, not only are you practicing patience, but you're also showing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you're doing both at the same time, SubhanAllah. And only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will truly reward you. Okay? So this is as far as it goes for Surah Anbiya. This is one thing that we needed to cover. It talks about other prophets as well, but one thing about patience, right? The patience of Ayyub alayhi salam. Oh. Well, it comes in one, it just says about the wife of Ayyub alayhi salam, right? Who was, now it's a riwayah, Allahu a'lam, Allah ta'ala knows best. Her name was Layya bint Misha bin Yusuf. Okay, Layya bint Misha bin Yusuf alayhi salam. Now some say she was either the daughter, so the wife of Ayyub alayhi salam was either the daughter of Yusuf alayhi salam or she was the granddaughter of Yusuf alayhi salam. Nevertheless, Allahu a'lam, Allah ta'ala knows best. Okay? So moving on to Surah Hajj. This surah talks about on how pilgrimage started at the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam and what are the factors of Hajj. Okay? Okay? And talks about different arkan and different things. Okay? So in ayah number 22, it was revealed at the time of Badr. Others say it was a different time, and it was that an animal should be slaughtered by the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when a person is in the state of ihram, it is not jaiz for him, it is not okay, it is not permissible for him to cut his, like I said, going through the factors of Hajj, right? It is not okay, it is not permissible for him to clip his nails nor cut his hair, right? This is, then again, it's uplifted after his, uh, after his, once he has slaughtered an animal, okay? Then thereafter it talks about performing tawaf of Kaaba, which is tawaf of ziyarah. This is normally done after qurbani and shaving your head, right? Uh, so this is Allah hope, and not just quickly going over this right now. We don't have time to delve into the factors of Hajj and how Hajj is performed. This is not the time to get into this. We really, the Khatam is supposed to be on the 28th. We really have to move forward. Okay, so just briefly telling you about the factors of Hajj. Right now, we don't have time to delve into this. Okay. Now, just quickly going into Surah Mu'minun, okay, inshallah. And this is something we'll spend a little more time on this. Inshallah, spend a little more time on this, and then we will conclude today's day. Okay. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Okay. Why is this called Surah Mu'minun? Because it talks about the qualities of believers. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Mu'minun have, those who have Iman, they are successful, right? Who are successful? الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Right, these are the qualities. And in the beginning of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of those qualities that a Muslim should have, right? Muslim should have these qualities. Umar radiallahu anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, okay, and listen to this, a person who builds these qualities, a person who works on these qualities, you adopt these qualities, in the first 10 ayahs of Surah Mu'minun will directly go to Jannah. Okay? You act upon these few qualities, inshallah, you will go to Jannah. And this is something we will talk about. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Right? Those who are humble / submissive in salah. Okay? Those who have devotion in salah. Right? Allahu Akbar. Then again, understanding how can one have devotion in salah. Right? Think of it like this. For example, you're going to run a marathon. Okay, just get this example, and then we can understand how we can have khushu in salah. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ, talking about the qualities, right? You want to go for a marathon, or let's say you're getting ready for a basketball game. Now, let's say before this event, before the basketball game, you don't exercise, you don't stretch, you don't jog, you don't slightly jog, you don't run a little, and you just jump right into the game, right into the basketball game. 5 minutes into the game, now you have a cramp. 10 minutes into the game, now you have a spasm. Now, when you have a spasm, let's say because of your back spasm or your ache or your leg hurts or whatever the reason may be, you are not as productive, right? It only makes sense. The same goes for a boxer. For example, a boxer, this boxer knows he has a fight coming up in December, right? And we're sitting in July, for instance. He doesn't get ready for that fight, right? He doesn't get ready for that fight. He said, no worries. When I get to that, when I step inside the ring, then I'll show everyone what I can do. So this person doesn't practice. When he gets into the ring, let alone it has 12 rounds, let alone the 12th round, he gets knocked out in the first round, right? Similarly, my dear respected brothers and sisters, we have to prepare for salah, right? Preparation of salah starts before. Now, someone wonders, how does that happen before? How do you prepare for salah before salah, prior to salah? It's when a person, subhanAllah, you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout your day. You know, this is what swimmers do. Look at swimmers. They'll jump inside a swimming pool. They'll get ready. Why? They want to get accustomed. They want to get used to the water. Used to the feel of the water. And then they go for a swim. Right? Just imagine someone 24/7, or throughout the day. We have dunya in our hearts. And how can this be the moment you step inside, that ring, the moment you say Allahu Akbar? Do you really think you're going to be focused? It's like, the same example of a boxer, or the same example of yeah, a boxer. Before the fight, and a few months before the fight, he is completely, he's occupied with other things. He doesn't care about the fight. He doesn't care about anything. Right? His mind is somewhere else. Now, when he comes to the boxing ring, right? Now he doesn't know what to do. Now he gets knocked out in the first round, right? So you have to be mentally prepared, right? Now his coach tells him that you weren't mentally prepared. Similarly, my dear respected brothers and sisters, if we don't want to get knocked out in salah, our preparation for salah has to start before. Throughout the day, if for example, subhanAllah, the saying goes that if you want to, one example I'll give, you preheat something and then you cook it, right? You make sure the stove is on, right? It's preheated, right? And then you put something else on top, right? When you put that when you put that pot on top of that pot of food or that salad and whatever you have, and you're able to cook it properly, right? Now what happens is when you have let's say you put you take your pot and you put it on the stove and then you turn on the stove. What happens? It takes longer, right? So obviously we only have 4 rakats, or we only have 2 rakat, or 3 witr, right? It takes time for us to get into that, to be that devoted, right? It takes time. But subhanAllah, if our hearts are preheated with a remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's very easy for us to start remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have devotion in salah from the first rakah, rather than having it in the third or the fourth, right? The same goes for Ramadan. If our preparation for Ramadan starts prior to Ramadan, then inshallah we can reap the rewards. Then we can really work and make an effort in Ramadan. Majority of us, our effort starts the first day of Ramadan, right? The first 10 days we don't even know what hit us. The second day we're like, okay, no. Okay, now the second 10 days we understand we're in Ramadan, and then the third we understand that subhanAllah we're already sad that Ramadan's going, right? So understanding that things have to be preheated, right? So, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Our preparation for Salah has to start before, so we don't get knocked out in Salah, right? We don't get knocked out in Salah, as scholars say. So, how does that preparation start? It's that, when we are cooking food or whatever we're doing, when we are outside of Salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be on our mind. You know how we have our children on our mind, right? The mother has the children on her mind, that wherever the children is, but she remembers her child. Right? The same thing we need to have, right? In that fashion, we need to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the day. Once you do this, inshallah, we'll have khushu in our salah. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who abstain from lahu. What is lahu? And I said this before, that which will benefit. Lahu is something which will not benefit you in the hereafter. Okay? Lahu is something which doesn't benefit you in this world and the hereafter. That is lahu. Right? Something which doesn't benefit you in the hereafter. Okay? So, for example, talking about different things, right? Delving into them. Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect. الَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. Now, this is a question that we have to ask ourselves, subhanAllah. And at the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine, though the people at that time, right, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, I will wage war against those people who don't offer their zakah, who don't give their zakah. Right? Just imagine, subhanAllah, what would happen if Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was alive at this point, right? Or we were alive at that point, subhanAllah. Right? Allahu Akbar. Right? So we don't want to be in that category, right? Umar radiallahu anhu, this was his first statement. He said, Ya Abu Bakr, don't have this, don't wage war against them. At least they're going for Hajj, they're going for Umrah. He said, no, I will wage war against them. And after some time, Umar radiallahu anhu, he agreed to that as well. He said, you know what, you're right. Right? We will wage war against those who don't pay zakat as well. Right? SubhanAllah, see, understanding my respected brothers and sisters. Zakat. One beautiful thing. We have to understand why. Sadaqah is one thing, right, that a person gives. Zakat is something that's reserved for the poor. right? That's reserved for the poor, right? Sadaqah is something that a person can give to anywhere, right? Not getting into the conditions of sadaqah, but I'm just saying sadaqah is something that's general. But zakat is something specific to the poor people, right? And what is the objective? What is the reason behind it? What is the reason behind giving zakat? Is that a person, we have this habit and this quality of having wealth, right? Having wealth in our possession. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now I want to take this habit, this quality of stinginess out of you, right? The stinginess, this quality of hoarding, right? This quality of just taking wealth and just keeping it to yourself. He says, I want to rid you of this quality, right? This is why we give zakat as well, right? To purify our nafs, and to purify our hearts, right? So not only do you purify your wealth, but you purify the hearts, right? Ever wonder why? And subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Today people say that how come the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't descend? How come this isn't happening? How come that isn't happening? Allahu Akbar. Right? Understanding, has this ummah paid its zakat and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala withheld his help? Did this ever happen? SubhanAllah. For as long as Allahu Akbar, this is, I keep saying this, وَمَا ظَلَمَهُمُ اللَّهُ وَلَكِنْ كَانُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ. People oppress themselves, right? Why was understanding, the golden era of Islam, why was Islam flourishing and going? And subhanAllah, we can still get to that time. I'm not saying being optimistic. I'm not saying that time has passed, we can never reach that time. I'm saying we can still have the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can still have, blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can descend and everything can happen. How can it happen? If we follow this deen, right? Understanding, see, subhanAllah, we have children, they had children as well. We live our lives the way they lived their lives as well. So what was but they had the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with them. So understanding, what are we doing wrong? The difference is that those people, they had their lives, they were busy in their lives the way we are in our lives. But at the same time, they were those people were giving their zakat. They were going for Hajj, if they could go for Hajj. They were going for, they were fasting. And, they were doing other things as well. They were praying, they were offering their salah on time, right? So this is a question that we need to ask. Today, we are not ready to offer salah on time. When we have the means to go for Hajj, we don't want to go for Hajj. We can fast today, but we choose not to fast. We can give zakat, but we choose not to give zakat. And then we complain, how come the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not descending? So نُعِيبُ زَمَانَنَا, Allahu Akbar, as Imam Shafi'i says, right? نُعِيبُ زَمَانَنَا وَالْعَيْبُ فِينَا وَمَا لِزَمَانِنَا وَالْعَيْبُ سِوَانَا. Right? وَلَوْ نَطَقَ الزَّمَانُ لَنَا لَهَجَانَا. Allahu Akbar. He says, نُعِيبُ زَمَانَنَا وَالْعَيْبُ فِينَا. Today everyone says, the time has changed. The time has changed. That time, the time of Sahaba, Allahu Akbar, people were pious. The time of Imam Shafi'i, people were pious. The time of Imam Abu Hanifa, people were pious. Allahu Akbar. It is the same Ardullah. It's not like they lived in Jannah. It's not like they lived on a different planet. Right? They lived in Iraq. Some of them lived in Medina, Mecca, and so on and so forth. Right? Allahu Akbar. So understanding that they lived on earth as well. But in reality, it's our fault. We say the time has changed. We blame time. Imam Shafi'i says, don't blame time. Blame yourself. Right? It is our fault that we are unable to follow the ways of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if time were to talk, time would say, you know what? Don't blame me. You are to blame. Even time would blame us. Allah. Right? So let us not blame time. We need to get focused. We need to be focused. We need to say that it is our fault. It is our fault, right? Today, subhanAllah, we throughout, not everyone, I'm just generalizing, throughout our lives we tend to blame others. Why didn't you get a good mark at school? Because it's the teacher's fault. The teacher didn't teach me properly. Okay, mashallah. Why didn't you get a good job? Because my employer, he's a mean guy. He's a mean person. That's why I didn't get that job. Okay, mashallah. Why did this happen? Because of him. Why did that happen? Because of him. So what happened because of you? How many things have happened because of you? Right? SubhanAllah. And Allah Akbar, I always remember this, my teachers used to say, they said, when you point a finger at someone, right? When you point a finger at someone and you say, this person, you did this, He said, be sure that you're pointing one finger at him. You know, that one index finger of yours is going and pointing towards that person. But he said, remember, 3 fingers are pointing towards you. You give it a try. You point your finger at one person, 3 fingers are pointing towards you. So look at yourself first, and then talk about others. Right? Look at yourself first, and then talk about others. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us this understanding that let us not, today we have this tendency of playing a blame game, right? And it's very easy. Nothing gets done. Oh yeah, that person, he didn't do it. That this happens. Oh, it's because of this, right? Blame technology, blame people, blame him. Never blame yourself, right? And subhanallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, just came into my mind. On Yawm al-Qiyamah as well, right? Shaitan will say, لَمَا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ. See, this is Shaitan saying this, okay? إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعَدَكُمْ وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't go against his promise. He is truthful and he will stick to his promise. Okay? وَعَدَ الْحَقِّ. وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ, and I promised you. What was the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Subhanallah, going through all of these things, right? وَقَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Right? You do all of these things. Okay, I'll get to this after, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us Jannah, right? Just quickly delving into this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us Jannah. That you do this, you follow my messenger, you perform righteous deeds, and in return, you have my Jannah, right? This is a promise of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not go against his promises. وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. And who is more truthful than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No one, right? Rhetorical question. Shaitan, he says, وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ. And I promised you as well. I promised you that live on interest, you'll have a better life. Live on interest, you have a better life, deceive people, you earn more money, do this, have all those things, etc. Okay? وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. But you know what? Too bad, so sad. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. I went against my promise. So today, فَلَا تَلُومُونِي. So don't blame me today, right? فَلَا تَلُومُ. This is what Shaitan will say on Yawm al-Qiyamah. فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Don't blame me, blame yourself. See, in this world, we tend to blame this person, that person. Today, even Shaitan. We say, oh, today, I'm doing this because, Shaitan is just like this. We tend to blame Shaitan. So Shaitan will say on Yawm al-Qiyamah, فَلَا تَلُومُونِي وَلُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. Don't blame me, blame yourself. إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I only called you. That's it. I only call on to you. Right? And subhanAllah, this is true. And he's saying the truth at that point. Shaitan, we understand Shaitan's a liar, he's a deceiver, but at that point he's telling the truth. إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ. Shaitan doesn't have this power that he grabs us by our hands and our feet and he tells us to go to the club. He only whispers. إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتُكُمْ. I only called you, right? And you responded. فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. Right? You just called and you just responded and you said, okay, I will abide. Yes, sir. And you followed my orders. That's all you did. Right? And he said, I had no authority over you. Right? I had no authority over you. This is what Shaitan will say on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So understanding, my dear respected brothers and sisters, let us, from this day onwards, let us blame ourselves. Right? We are not ready to make effort for deen. We are not ready to pray salah. We are not ready to pray salah on time. We are not ready to give zakat on time. We are not ready to give sadaqah. We are not ready to fast in the month of Ramadan. We are not ready to cherish this beautiful month of Ramadan as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has prescribed for us. And yet we say, the help of Allah doesn't come. Allah Ta'ala doesn't like me. Allah Ta'ala likes you more than your mother likes you. The entire world can abandon you. Allah Ta'ala will never abandon you if you become His. Okay? So we need to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is something that we need to realize. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding. Ameen. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِزَكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. They offer their zakat. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Who guard their private parts. إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُم غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. Those will not be questioned. They will not be criticized, except if, obviously, they do it through halal way, halal source. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. Right? Those, when they make a promise, right, they fulfill their promise. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَىٰ صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. Who guard their salah. Now this is, subhanallah, this is all of these qualities. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? See, everyone wants to go to Jannah, right? You want the recipe to go to Jannah. You want this. How do I get to Jannah? How do I do this? Allahu Akbar. أُولَٰئِكَ O people, O slaves of mine, you want to go to Jannah? Okay, fine. Here's a recipe. Do this. I'll give you this. Okay, and then again, saying Allah Subhanahu wa Taala does not go against His promises. أولئك هم الوارثون. These are the inheritors. The person says, okay, inheritors of what? Of what? Wealth, right? Will I have a house in Manhattan? Will I have a house in Beverly Hills? No. الذين يرثون الفردوس. The most expensive commodity, land of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, right? Far greater than Beverly Hills, far more expensive than any island, 1,000 islands, this island, that island, right? Best commodity, the most expensive land of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in Jannah, Jannatul Firdaus. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala make this our final abode and final destination as well. I mean, no, just adding on to that, subhanallah. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. Look at your own creation, insan. Indeed, we have created insan from an extract of clay, or after a drop of semen, in a protected place in the womb of the mother. Clot of blood, then lump of flesh, 2 bones. Then we cover the bones with flesh, right? With meat. Then we made it into a new creation, a new form. Blessed is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. The best of creators. We look at our own creation, subhanallah. The way our eyes function. By Allah subhanallah, this is something that we need to really look into. This is then again just a little side note, right? Today you take any camera. You look at our phones, the new iPhones are there, the new Samsung phones are there, S20 Plus Ultra, this, and subhanAllah, all that stuff, 20 megapixel. By Allah, even if they add like 100 megapixel, I tell you what, this can never match our eye, subhanAllah, the way our eyes adjust to things. SubhanAllah, Allahu Akbar. Not too long ago, I was looking at Northern Lights. Alhamdulillah, here in Edmonton, we have Northern Lights. We're able to see them, right? And it's the most beautiful thing, subhanAllah, I've ever seen in my life, right? Pictures don't do justice. I tell you this. Those who have seen Northern Lights, subhanAllah, it is the most beautiful thing you can ever see. It's something, subhanAllah. You have green lights, blue lights, white lights. And they're shimmering. Subhanallah, it's like it's like 3D light. I don't even know how to explain this. Right? Subhanallah, words won't do justice. I looked at them. I said, subhanallah, this is a moment that I need to capture. I take out my phone. I take that picture. By Allah, subhanallah, that image that my eyes captured was far greater than the image my camera captured. Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar. This is something that, just our eyes, subhanallah. A person will come on Yawm al-Qiyamah and he will say, and he will be forgiven. And he will say, Ya Allah, I did so many good deeds in my life. I did so many good deeds in my life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, okay. Right? Then again, going back to when ta'udu ni'mat Allah, not even the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can't even count one blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take his eyesight and he will weigh this blessing, right? The blessing of his eyesight. He will put it on one panel, and on the other panel he will place whatever he's done, any good he's done. For example, thousands of dollars in charity and so much. Allahu Akbar, just this blessing of eyesight will outweigh the amount of deeds he's done throughout his entire life. Allahu Akbar. Just the eyesight. I mean, La ilaha ma'allah. Is there anyone else other than Allah who can do this? Right? Why is it hard for us to turn to Allah? Right? Why is it hard for us to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allahu Akbar. Right? So my dear respected brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us this understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just imagine it. يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسِ. Can you imagine that feeling? What is Firdaus? Today everyone talks about, I live in this community, I live in that community, I live with Bill Gates, Bill Gates lives in this residency, this person lives in that residency. Can you imagine Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam living in Jannah? Living in that community? Jannat al-Firdaus, living in that community full of Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in, the likes of Ali radiallahu anhu, the likes of Umar radiallahu anhu, the likes of Uthman radiallahu anhu, the likes of Talha bin Ubaidullah radiallahu anhu, prophets like Musa alayhi salam, prophets like Isa alayhi salam, prophets like Idris alayhi salam. That should be our goal. Our goal today, everyone's goal is to live in Beverly Hills, live in Manhattan. Why that celebrity lives there, this person lives there. These are the real celebrities, prophets. These are the real celebrities and the real role models. Let me tell you this. How many people today, everyone says Michael Jackson, he was fine, he was a big celebrity. How many people today they say his names? His own followers don't say his name. But till Qiyamah, people will remember Ali radiallahu anhu. Till Qiyamah, people will remember Imam Shafi'i. Till Qiyamah, people will remember Imam Abu Hanifa. Till Qiyamah, people will remember Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Till Qiyamah, people will remember Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Till Qiyamah, people will remember all these names, right? Till Qiyamah, people will remember Abdullah bin Mas'ud. Till Qiyamah, people will remember Abdullah bin Abbas. After a few years, people will forget these names. Who talks about that star? Trust me, people are going to forget about that star. People are going to forget about all of this. Right? So these are the real superstars. These are the real celebrities. Right? Just think of that. Obviously Jannah is something we can't comprehend, but Jannah, subhanAllah, Jannah is so beautiful that when we get into Jannah, we'll talk about Jannah, not right now, but the Jannah begins where your imagination ends. You've only reached the door of Jannah, subhanAllah. So you can think Jannah is like this, it's like that, it's like that. You've only reached the door of Jannah, subhanAllah. Right? We don't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in store for us. Right? For example, now just a few more things I will say, inshallah, then we'll wrap things up. You know how let's say you get invited to someone's house, or let's say a competition. Let's say today Bill Gates or Elon Musk or some rich person, right? I shouldn't be saying their names, but I'm just saying some rich billionaire, right? He puts his name out there, and he puts his competition out there, and he says, this is my competition. If you do this, if you compete in this competition, I will reward you. I'll just say that Elon Musk, when he tells you that I will reward you, and this is for me, and we find out that he's very generous and all that stuff. Just giving an example so we understand. You're not thinking $100, $200. You're probably thinking maybe millions of dollars, right? That you will receive after winning this competition. By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner. وَلِلَّهِ خَزَائِنُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the possessor and the owner of all the treasures, whatever this earth and the skies have, right? When He tells us that you pray salah, that you do all these things, I will give you firdaus. By Allah, His firdaus will outweigh and it will outdo everything, whatever this world contains. Right? So let's work towards something. Just as in this world, everything has a price, right? You want to live in Beverly Hills, you could get a pay price. You want to live in Manhattan, you have to pay a price. You want a Rolls Royce, you have to pay a price. Jannat al-Firdaus also has a price. Let us not think that we can just live our lives however we want to live our lives, and we'll just live in Jannat al-Firdaus. No, Jannat al-Firdaus has a price. It's got a price, right? And what's the price that I told you? All of these things. Right? الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون. Zakat is one of them. والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون, another one. والذين هم على صلاتهم يحافظون, another one. والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون, another one. أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون. Allahu Akbar. Today you don't pay rent, you get kicked out, you get evicted. هم فيها خالدون. You won't get evicted from Jannah. No one will kick you out of Jannah. Hum fiha khalidun. That's your place. You stay there forever and ever. Right? My dear respected brothers and sisters, we wrap with this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a true understanding. Why are we going for something which has no value in the eyes of Allah? Right? بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا. You give preference and you give priority to this world. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير. Give preference to akhirah. Why? Because it's better. Khayr, and it is longer lasting. It's long lasting. وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. Not only is it better, it's long lasting. You live here on earth for 60 years, you live in akhirah, you live in my Jannah forever and ever. وَأَبْقَى, everlasting. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding of what has been heard and said. Ameen. Okay, before we end, I believe one sister had a question. Well, I don't know, someone had a question. So if we can get to that question, inshallah, I will answer that question and we will wrap things up. Quickly wrap things up, inshallah. Okay, if we can just get to those books, inshallah. I'm sorry, I mean, if we can get to the questions, I was saying. If we can get to the questions, if someone has any question, we'll give it about roughly 2 minutes, then inshallah we'll call it a day. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll commence with Surah Nur and moving forward. Okay, no worries, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan for your time. Inshallah, I will see you tomorrow. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.
This session is no longer being recorded.